On May 5th, 2026, the US Department of Homeland Security proposed eliminating the duration of status framework for F1 student visas. Proposed changes to US student visa rules could make it harder for international graduates, especially Indians, to stay employed in the US after graduation. Under the current system, international students are generally allowed to remain in the US as long as they maintain their student status and comply with visa requirements. The changes could worsen talent shortages in AI, technology, and engineering sectors, according to Danielle Goldman.
First of all, I think that all students are impacted in a similar way, but we know that Indian students are one of the largest student populations in the United States, meaning Indian students at a disproportionate rate are entering into the H-1B lottery. They're getting the jobs, they're working through school, they're getting the jobs, they're getting the companies to say, yes, we will sponsor you and we will have you and in our OPT program, so you can use your OPT at our company, and we will allow you to, register with your school and tell them that you're doing OPT with us. But that means that the company is investing in them and will most likely enter them into the H-1B lottery. And if the students have chosen a friendly, immigrant-friendly employer, that means that the employer will be willing to take that next step and enter them into the lottery. So we have, tens of thousands of Indian students that are entering into the H-1B lottery annually. And if they are not selected in that lottery, many companies say to those students, we can't help you. We won't be able to create an individualized solution for you because we have a blanket immigration program, but you could go get another degree at a school and do a day one CPT program, and you can pay for it and you can go sign up for it. And if you get into day one CPT, we will again extend your student's working status with us at this company. Amazon does this, Facebook does this, Meta, all of these larger companies where they are not willing to take an individualized approach to immigration. They are the ones who typically say, go do a day one CPT program. Now, the change that is happening is that day one CPT programs in this new duration of status rule are only allowed if you have not already received a degree in that at that level. So for anyone who already has a master's degree, for anyone who already went and did their OPT through this secondary degree, they are not going to be able to go back and say, I need another master's degree because I need work authorization to continue working at Meta or Amazon or Tesla. They would have to go do a next level of degree, a doctorate degree, a PhD. That's not reasonable for people. They don't want to sign up for a 5-year PhD program when they're a data scientist and they're using machine learning every day and they have a master's degree in machine learning, but they lost the lottery, right? So for all of these folks, and I'm sure we're talking about tens of thousands of Indian foreign nationals who have a master's degree, who were entered into the H-1B lottery multiple times and were not selected. They are going to be seeking alternate solutions because the day one CPT program for them is not an option anymore. And Amazon and Meta and a lot of these companies that relied on that solution to retain their talent, who they've invested in during the OPT period, that's not going to be possible anymore, and they're going to have to think of solutions. The duration of status rule that has been proposed is going to fundamentally change the flexibility that students have had to apply for optional practical training and curricular practical training, which are OPT and CPT, both work authorization options for students. and enjoy the ability to stay on those statuses and just change status by working with the school to adjust and extend statuses depending on certain circumstances or jobs that they are able to get within with OPT and CPT status. Really what's happening is individuals would have to be admitted for a fixed period of time into these statuses rather than have the ability to extend or to use these statuses sporadically. So when you apply for a 4-year F1, at the end of that, you'll have to apply actually and work with USCIS through an application process to be able to extend your status, to extend OPT, to get some CPT extensions. So it's changing, it's making this more challenging because working with schools is obviously a different experience than working with USCIS on these extensions and adjusting the status that students are in. It also, with our current scrutiny over coming with the State Department and coming into the US and entering the US for students who might want to travel and leave and re-enter, this is going to create a lot of challenge for them because they don't have this the same kind of dependability on the status that they currently have, even if they're going through an extension process. People used to leave while they were on OPT, and even if there was just a short period of time left on OPT, they used to be able to come and go, and now we're anticipating a lot more scrutiny. There's going to be a massive challenge for employers who will have to consider an alternate immigration solution for their employees who are not able to leverage day one CPT. And companies are going to go in two directions. Some companies are going to say, we aren't going to hire any more foreign nationals in OPT because, well, we used to have another solution for them if they lose the lottery. Now we don't. So it's a high risk investment for them. If they're going to invest 1 to 3 years in a data scientist, they now have a 50% chance of losing them after those 3 years. 50% was the selection rate in the lottery this year. Very high, by the way, which is promising for companies in some ways, based on historic numbers. But this is a big change. What do we do with the 50% of individuals who aren't selected in the lottery? And some companies will say, we can't take that chance anymore, and we're not going to be paying for these alternate pathways. And don't forget, foreign nationals could pay for CPT. So they could pay for their own program. Now it's going to be on the company to say, we are going to invest in pathways for these individuals.